about the issue of having an American flag in a Christian church, or we might even say having a South African flag in a Christian church. Like, what is the relationship between what we call nationalism or patriotism and our faith?
We should be celebrating the culture of the kingdom, doing things according to that first. Our primary culture is a kingdom culture. Our primary identity is in Christ first. Everything else is after that. So I think that would be secondary. That would be a after church kind of thing. Hey, you're welcome to come. You ain't gotta come. That's your gig. But as even as Americans, I don't know that. I think that that's our secondary identity, and we should be free to celebrate that. And I think that as Christians, being a Christian and having your identity first in Christ offers freedom to celebrate the other things.
Yeah. Because I grew up in a church where we had an American flag up on the platform. And we had the American flag and the Christian flag. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until my husband and I started going to a Reformed church that the pastor was really, he had a very specific, like he would say from the pulpit multiple times, we do not have an American flag up here on the platform for a reason, because we're Christians first. And we're not Americans first. And they didn't think it proper for the church to endorse, implicitly any particular country. And I think he would have said the same, even if he was in South Africa or Scotland or anywhere else. It's just to separate out our citizenship a little bit. I had never actually thought about that issue until we were in that church. And I thought, that's an interesting perspective. I think I had always just kind of grown up thinking, oh yeah, I'm a Christian and I live in America and both flags are up there. Yay us. Mm-hmm. But now that I look back on that, I as I reflect on the words of the Apostle Peter about our citizenship, that our citizenship is in heaven. And then we think about that as you said, as our primary identity. And I don't think that means that I can't celebrate being an American, but I kind of have to have some mental space to keep those things understood. Like, what am I believing that's Christian? What am I doing that's promoting Christian, distinctly Christian culture, Christian worldview, versus this is what I believe and I celebrate because I'm an American. Mm-hmm. The apostles were living under an incredibly oppressive government. And as the gospel was going out, they were definitely a minority within a minority. Mm-hmm. The Jews were a minority religion. Christianity at that point was sort of subsumed. Many people in the outside world thought it was a form of Judaism in the beginning. And it's interesting to me that the resurrection became the primary identity marker for the early Christians. And that was part of the problem with the early Christians, is people thought they were against Caesar, that they weren't being loyal to Caesar. They didn't want to engage in the Caesar worship rituals and that sort of thing. And Jesus told them to pay their taxes, to give due to the government, but that their heart and their emotions and what pushed them forward to preach the gospel was their citizenship in heaven. Now, were there times where Paul appealed to his citizenship as a Roman? Yes, when it worked to the benefit of the gospel. Mm-hmm. And he needed a trial. He got jailed without a proper trial, so he appealed to the government authorities because he was a Roman citizen. So yes, there were some times where he leveraged that public citizenship, but it was always in service of the gospel first. And so it's made me reflect, as much as I love my country and as much as I love the symbolism and the ideals that it stands for, at the same time, I have to always be keeping in my mind, am I letting that become first? How do I have my Christianity first? How do I put that culture first? Because Christianity is a global religion. Am I inadvertently Americanizing Christianity? Mm-hmm. Because in many cities, there's many ethnicities. So how am I going to open up the gospel to as many people as possible? If I have that national symbol up there, does that become a stumbling block for some people? These are the questions I think it's important for us to ask.
Every voice